And so this is going to be a little hard because my mirror's over here and I'm going to have to do it at an angle where you guys can see while I'm doing this. And so these are the blades, and you open it here. And then there's the little top of the blade. And so you get your clamps. And what I do is I clamp it here. And you can lock it in place. Just make sure it's nice and locked. And so there's kind of like a little edge there. And what you do is you take your blade and you go under, and then oops, so this is where I have to pull some more of that out of the way. Okay. And since you're working with, I would say kind of have like a little hole where if you have to, you could scoop your blade in there. But since I'm already struggling, I'm gonna readjust it. So we hold on to our blade, very careful. I'm gonna unclip it, and I'm probably gonna slide it down more to here. Clip it in place. We need control of this. You're working with a blade, so you need to be so careful. So careful. Okay. I think I'm gonna open it some more. I'm still holding it, so this is kind of hard to do. Okay. And practice makes perfect. Okay, keep our little hook up on top, and we clip it. Oh no, whoops, no wonder I was messing up. This has to go in here. Okay, so we're sliding it into the hole, and there's the clip. Okay, so now I'm gonna hold my spatula, I'm gonna unlock it, release that, and we can just pull that right off. We put it right over here on the side. We put our clamp on the side. Okay, and so my face is already dry. I did exercise before I got started. Normally I exercise, I'll wash my skin, I'll do the treatment, and then I shower. But it's more realistic if I shower first, because the majority of your clients, customers are gonna come to you already showered from the morning. And so you're kind of prepping them for the nighttime routine or for throughout the day. And so another thing I noticed is that you have to tell your customers, try not to move, try not to talk, but that's really hard to do, especially let's say they get itchy, they have to itch. I would say give them something that they can scratch themselves so that they're not touching their skin with their fingers. So, I mean, right now I don't have anything, but maybe a little stick for wax. Have one of those where they can just kind of scratch at the little corner and then that's not going to irritate their skin. So yeah, so I definitely recommend starting at the forehead. Okay, and so my skin is nice and dry. I made sure of that. Oh, see, I'm already forgetting my gloves. So we will be putting these on. I mean, technically I don't need gloves since I'm doing it on myself, but you're working with someone else. If you were to cut them, this is where you use your procedure on an open wound. And I would just, keep this handy. These aren't the best. I just bought, something that was nice and big, because when I was working on my skin last time, there was a lot of dead skin. And so that was a little, I needed each corner, and then I didn't have an extra one, so I just kept using the same one, which was very gross. But this video, I'm prepared. This time I'm prepared. Okay, so I definitely would recommend starting at the forehead. And then always ask your client, like, where's your problem areas? My problem area is here. I get acne from hell here. I get acne from how here and here and then right here in this area, plus, you know, problem with acne here. So this is kind of hard because technically I'm supposed to be a lot closer, and then try not to get any of your hair. You don't want a bald spot. It's not cute. Okay, so let me see. No, I can't see it in there. Okay, let's see. And remember, we're doing it at an angle. And tiny strokes. I forget what they say. I think it's a 45-degree angle, but I can't remember the exact angle, but you know, to have it to my skin, like at this type of angle, if that makes sense. I would definitely say, if you're a licensed esthetician, try it on your skin first. Never be afraid. And always go slow. There's nothing wrong with slow. That way you can time yourself and see how long it takes. And I don't like to do this too many times and then pile it up. I want to make sure that I'm getting every, you know, as much as I can off. Another issue that I ran into now that I'm thinking about it, because I felt a little dry spot here, were scabs. I pulled on one and that felt like it was going to hurt. So I can imagine that hurting maybe a client, and then this little blade, this little sharp edge, there were times where at certain angles it, you know, kind of poked me, and that I could see being really uncomfortable for a client. But like I said, you're the expert. See right here, I did it at an odd angle. And always ask your clients, hey, are you comfortable? Let me know if you feel any discomfort, if I need to change the angle of my blade, and see how long my forehead is taking. And be careful with your eyebrows. You do not want to shave any of those off, or your client's eyebrows, because I like to put myself in my client's situation, and I would be pretty pissed. And I probably, you know, would say something to the person that's doing this. Like, what is going on? I come to get pampered. You know, that everyone wants to get pampered. They want their treatments. And all of this is part of anti-aging. Oh, I feel a hair right here. Maybe it's the fuzz. And so see, I just have a little, can't really see that. I just have a little bit of fuzz. And so right here, when I was kind of moving my blade, I noticed that I felt maybe like I ripped off a tiny scab. So small scabs are okay. It's the big ones. I would try to do a better job if I was up close and personal. Okay, and so now here's another corner. You have a loop right here, and I shouldn't be pointing this in my face, but I'm holding this. So this is really hard. I would say pull it here, and these are the corners that I kind of struggled with. And so if you're not comfortable, I would avoid all this area. But me, I'm a person that get every corner you can that isn't super sensitive. Like this skin here, this is sensitive, but there's an area where it's not so sensitive. So this is not so sensitive, and I get acne there. And I want that gone. And I want the texture gone. And this is why I do these procedures on myself. See, and you have to hold the skin nice and tight. So technically, before I would have started this part, I would say, go ahead, scratch, move a little bit, take a deep breath if you have to, you know. Was it uncomfortable? How are you feeling? because you always want to know how they're feeling. I mean, your clients come to you for a reason, you know. They chose you for a reason. There's lots of people out there. There's always going to be options out there. So, I mean, for me, make it the best experience. But not just that, I'm gonna make sure that they see results, because I would expect that. I expect results when I do these treatments on myself. Okay, and so here's another weird angle. I'm sure other people do it different. I don't mind doing this. And then there was a time where, one time I had a little pimple, and I remember nice and slow. I had a little pimple, and I had to stop and kind of pop it. But what was nice is that the little spatula helped pull out the edge. You could do extractions. I definitely would recommend doing them. Oh, see, this is a weird angle right here, and I have to hold my hand here, and I'm gonna move the blade towards my hand. And see that? This little blade kind of scratched right here, and so that's a little scary. And so this nose area, it's so hard to work. So you just have to be super careful. See, again, I felt that sharp edge. If maybe you can avoid that on a customer, I definitely would avoid it. You don't want them to be scared and not want to come back. These are the edges that are so hard. Like, I feel the sharpness. But what's really nice about this, I also get like little pimples here, like acne, keratin that starts popping out, and this really helped with that. Plus the little fuzz, like there's women always get fuzz here because of this sideburn, and oh my god, that just takes it away. And it's true, after you do this and you put your serums, your skin really absorbs all the product. And so I had read that a dermaplane is super beneficial right before chemical peel, and so that's what I did. And so but this last time I did this dermaplane so that I could practice and make sure that I'm perfecting my technique. And then in 2 weeks from today, I'm gonna do the chemical peel. So I'm gonna see how that works, because winter's over, or about to be over. And so again, it's back to microdermabrasion. Oh, let's see, wasn't wiping. Also, the reason why it's important to wipe it off is your blade's not going to work as good if you have, you know, if your blade's dirty. And last time I did this here, I missed some corners. So that's another thing with the practice. You get to see where, what corners you're missing. Sorry, I have to adjust this towel. It's kind of falling. 1 second.